Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a long video, but a cool video featuring the Odyssey room at Axpona. And if you want to jump ahead, I'll have a chapter, go straight to that. But what I wanted to do in this little preface is explain, as I was doing this video, I realized it's over 30 minutes dedicated to this room. And at this show coverage, I was rushing through so many rooms I didn't even get to that I wanted to. So when I was putting together this coverage and see that I dedicated over 30 minutes, actually it's over an hour when you count music clips that'll be in a separate video. I feel like, man, that's a little unfair that I gave Odyssey all this attention and then I skipped or, minimized my attention to other rooms. Now, I'm not talking about this because anybody's complained. Everybody's been very gracious. Whatever I can give them in terms of coverage, they're very appreciative, and I appreciate that. I don't charge anybody anything. I do what I want, when I want, how I want. But sometimes just the way things go in a certain show, I can't do everything I want to do. So what happened here that made me spend so much time in this room, the other one? I want to explain it in general to the industry and to you, the viewers, so you know there's no prejudice one way or the other, or if there is a prejudice to something, what is it based on? And so in this case, number one, Klaus was open an hour early. If you're open an hour early, I don't like to shut down the room. I don't need to get in front of the camera and have all this production in rooms during the show and bother people. He was open before hours. We went in there, he locked the door, and we had an hour free before the show even started. As soon as the show hour started, you'll even hear me in the video saying, let's wrap up. There's people knocking, wanting to come in. Number two, I'm kind of giving Klaus extra coverage for 30 years if I thought he didn't get enough coverage. He was having these rooms for 30 years at $10,000. Everything in there, you could walk out of there with a great system. Synergy, great performance. And all these magazines were focusing so much on these super dollar cables, mega dollar speakers and electronics. And I just did not think that was representative of a true coverage of shows for all these years. So I'm kind of doing makeup for him and what he still provides today, value at high performance levels. Now, I don't even own any of his equipment, but another variable that will impact what I go to is obviously if I own the equipment and I'm interested in or potentially interested in it, but also if my friends own it. Like Dave owns Odyssey gear. Michael owns Linkwitz. I'm going to have a feature after this Odyssey one strictly on Linkwitz because they invited me to the room and we had a dedicated demo. So I just wanted to give you this kind of preface of what may indicate why I spend time in certain rooms versus the other. It's not because of any kind of compensation any of these rooms are giving me, but it's just a part of being available, inviting me, and having something that interests me or my friends or members of my channel. So without further ado, enjoy this walkthrough from Odyssey. At the very end, he gives some, this is another reason actually, he always gives good tips. And in particular, he gives you some specific tips on how he sets up his room and some measurements and type of things that I think will apply to you. So I think this is actual added value than just talking about his gear, model numbers, prices, and selling his gear. These are some tips that may actually help you. So enjoy, guys. Alrighty, guys, I'm in one of my favorite rooms of all shows. Well, he's got to get pretty first.
My hair, man.
You got to do like I do, wear a hat, then I never have to worry about that. But a familiar scene, one of the best decorated rooms. This is actually a hotel room. You could not even tell this is a hotel room. It's perfectly set up for, especially these speakers. The way he gets imaging in here is second to none. He's the biggest veteran of setting up rooms and hotel rooms like this. Probably the best that I've encountered in my 30 years. And aesthetically, as you can tell, really cool. And none other than Odyssey. And let me put some light on you here. We probably need to put the light back on. So, yes, now we can see Klaus with the good hair now.
I'm the best. I am the best.
All right, so I want to see some of this gear for people that haven't seen it before. Long-standing reputation with Odyssey, and a lot of people may or may not know about the connection to Symphonic line. Huge amount of value and performance. So let me just turn it over to you, walk through these pieces.
Well, look,
this is now my 35th year, I believe, 34, 35. With Odyssey, I started in earnest, and well, I started in '98, got involved with some assholes that tried to, rip me off, and then got it back in 2000. So really since 2000. So the Stratus is running now for 24 years. And there's no reason to stop it because, first of all, it's super successful. The word of mouth is just insane. We sold a total of 7,500 amplifiers, so 11,000 products, overall. And again, we're a family business, right? It's my wife and I. So we've been busy. But more importantly is that, of course, it's not the same, as it was 25 years ago. So there are lots and lots and lots of different kind of models, different modifications, etc., flowing into it. But I'm not doing a Mark 1, Mark 2, or whatever. That's inherently
every
unfair
year.
to the customer.
Right.
That is bullshit. That is just a rip-off game in the industry. So as far as Symphonic line is concerned, that's a mothership in Germany. Of course, ultra, ultra, ultra high-end. And they are also quite expensive, And so we're taking their baby line, the mono amplifiers, which are $14,000-$15,000 in Germany, and we manufacture them here. And the rest is history. Everybody knows about it. What we're showing here is the tube unit, the tube preamplifier. This CD player here is my old trusted vibrato. This unit is 16 years old.
Wow, that's awesome.
Are the newer ones better in many regards? Yes, but this particular unit has a voice, has a kind of signature that is just to die for me, Yes. So I'm 100% analog guy, right? And this unit really kind of gets me. So I'll probably take this to my grave. And then what we also are using, of course, on the VPI, we have the Graham toner.
Yeah.
And Bob Graham's, which is here with Magna, is also distributing. Then we have the DS Audio.
Yes.
And, I want one. I can't afford it, but I want one.
Okay.
And then, of course, all Magna Cables.
Yes, the cables. This is a long-standing cable brand. And very unique in design. And really nobody else does this type of ribbon-style cable. So we can talk about that.
And again, there's a reason, not just because Greg and I are friends, but there's a reason why I'm using it year after year after year after year, simply because it is good,
Yeah.
Is it the best cable in the world? No, I don't fucking know. But what it does, especially for the price point, and how cable prices are going out of control.
Yes.
It's really a value. It's a great value.
Yeah.
So that's number one. And then, of course, lastly, we're utilizing our two-way.
And people will not believe the price point on these, especially when they hear them, but even just the build quality alone. Just remind people how much you sell these for.
Well, these are $4,200.
$4,200.
And again, these are monitors. You can get them either as monitors or as a floor standard. And then we have the 2.5-way, 3 drivers. So there's another ScanSpeak Revelator and Beryllium. There's another Revelator in here, but we can't use it in this room because we're overloading the room.
Yeah, $4,200. You're getting ScanSpeak and Beryllium pedigree gear in drivers, and then this cabinet. Though we're not just talking about a normal MDF box in a rectangle.
Full 1 inch. It's not 3/4. It's 1 inch.
That's what.
And the liquid will have a 2-inch cabinet face to the front.
Yeah.
And the problem though that we're having is ScanSpeak.
That was all right.
So the Beryllium. ScanSpeak, none of the manufacturer actually are able to get the Beryllium, the raw material,
I've heard about this, yes.
Thick enough to coat their speakers with.
So, yes.
So they're, in the last 6 months, they sold out essentially all of their stock.
Yep, I know people have been buying it up, yep.
I did. I tried more.
I know, yeah. You've been fighting with other, because this is, some very expensive speakers have this same tweak.
Well, I bought enough. I bought out the Canadian distributor, when Metasound couldn't get much, so and I sold out bought out the last rest of the shipment from Metasound, and I don't think, there's another one coming. So I have enough probably for about a year and a half.
Okay.
But something has to be done. Does it have to be redesigned? Will we drop in a Satori, which is similar, but it's not the same? I don't know what we're doing.
Okay.
Right now, I'm just hoping that in the next year.
Get it now at 4,200 with that driver, because it may not be.
Yeah, that's real. I mean, that's real. Thankfully, like I said, thankfully I got another 35 pairs or so, of drivers in. But at that price, that's also a big nut that you're hanging over yourself.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then as far as the room itself is concerned, of course we're doing the candles and everything else.
Yes.
What you said about decorated. Very simple, and I said that in one of your videos before. You don't just listen with your ears,
Absolutely.
It's your body.
Yes.
First of all, we're visual animals, 90+%, because, when you can relax, when you close your eyes and really can relax and have your body and listen to the music, it's a whole body experience, not just kind of, not like some of these fucking idiots who are just coming in, peek over there in the boombox, the arch, for 10 seconds and think they have it, figured out, So you really can sit down and relax and really enjoy it. I mean, just like home. End of story. So this is supposed to be, yes, it's a trade show in Chicago. The Axpona is a pain in the ass.
Right.
I mean, it's my least favorite show.
Yeah, I agree. It's a
the
pain
most
in many respects, but fun in others. Yeah.
It's a pain.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, for me, it's good. It's a 3-hour drive, right?
Yep.
And I'm doing a lot of business here, but everything around it.
Yeah.
So even though, well, first of all, the people who are going and shopping in the first floor or on the top floor will never come to our room. We're talking about we're talking about two societies here, right? Money-wise and everything else.
Sure.
But it's amazing, even though with so many rooms where people are rushing through, unlike Capital Audiofest, where you really have all the time in the world, right? With so many rooms, people rushing through, it's amazing how many people really sit down. And if I'm doing like the Roger Waters, what you wanted to hear, if I'm doing like the Miles Davis, or running the whole Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here, nobody's moving.
Yes.
Nobody's moving, which is great because
that's the ultimate litmus test, is if people are moving out of that center seat or not. And you provide the visual as well, that people just feel relaxed in here, and the sound quality.
But again, you have a fair amount of idiots running around here too, right?
Of course.
But, and people really who are, don't really care about others. But it's awesome. And part of it is a room decoration, yes. So nobody else wants to really do it and tackle it like we're doing?
No.
Thank you.
No, I give you major
props.
props.
Years now, and I'm still not copied. Awesome.
Yes. No, exactly. I'm surprised more don't. But it takes a lot to basically gut a hotel room. You've got some treatments here. You're hiding them behind here. And then you've got speakers that actually do work well where you're placing them.
Near field.
Yeah.
Okay. For your viewers, so let me give some free advice here, which works in probably 90% of the systems out there, because most speakers today really have a good dispersion rate on the drivers. If you have something beaming, it doesn't work, But if you have bipoles, it doesn't really work. But most other ones do. And that is on the near field. Look what I'm doing. Now, right now, if you're sitting down there, go ahead and sit down and put it on ear level with the camera. With the camera on ear level. Just about. So, just to give you an idea. So, it's not the exact number, but in general. So, from tweeter to tweeter, right now what we're having is about 10 foot. From tweeter to you, it's about 7.5 to 8 feet. So, we're running about over 20% or right around 20%. So, what you do in a good system is you measure tweeter to tweeter, ear to ear, crossover. It's always better. So left tweeter, right ear, right tweeter, left ear. Establish your even triangle, 10, 10, 10, for example. And then either bring the speakers to you or come over to the speakers that you're in a near field application. Depending on the drivers, again, how far you want to go, depending on your room, depending on your listening. And some people might not like that, some people might like sit behind. But what I'm trying to do here works phenomenally. Then, you go straight up. These are, by the way, because there's a trapezoid shape, they look like they're straight up, but look like they're towed in, but they're actually fairly straight up.
Right.
Just towed in very, very,
Very
very
slight.
little.
Yeah.
But what you do then is, like I said, and hopefully you have somebody to help, just tick by tick by tick. And at some point, it just clicks. When it clicks, just stop there. But a couple of things will happen. One, again, if you have the speakers who can support it, you will have an unbelievably big, huge window. Really, I mean, it goes, not just to your neighbors, but fucking freaking, street or next door, next street up. So that's number one. Number two is that what I always call it, and I have it in a couple of other videos, I call it a cocoon. So you're sitting in kind of a cocoon kind of sound field. Yes, you will still have first and second wave reflections, and hopefully you're not sitting in front of a mirror. But the reflections that are coming to you, just by the physics of it, are greatly diminished. So they're greatly diminished when they come to you. So you're actually cleaning up your whole sound field, your room, for free, to a great deal, to a great deal. So it works. I set up many systems, many different speakers, many different everything, and really 9.5 times out of 10 it worked well. So everybody can try it. Doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
As far as the other stuff in here is concerned, well, that is just for pretty. Really doesn't do anything. Of course, we kind of covered the alcove a little bit, to get the boom out of here, and that worked very well. And in the corner over there, which is that's a piece of shit corner, that's where I'm sitting. Now, don't let anybody else there.
So you're part of the room treatment.
It's great to be a tyrant in your room, I'm telling you. So I'm pretty tyrannical here. I'm pretty, I actually tell people what to do, because otherwise it's just out of control.
Right. Well, I'll just echo what you say, because when you sit near field, if you can do this, even in the worst room natively, you are still going to hear, and even you do have reflections like he's talking about, but you're still hearing a much higher percentage of your speakers versus the room. The further you sit back in a bad room, the worse it's going to get.
Well, it's not terrible, right? So we have the same problems all the time. Actually, the Capital Audio Fest room.
That's a good room, yeah.
The Capital Audio Fest room has the thinnest walls of all, but because it's so big, you don't really have that pressure pricing problem. I mean, look, I hope Reichert next door. I hope he's not sleeping. So when you go, it's active.
Yes.
It's active. It's not necessarily reflective, but it adds to a kind of boom,
right?
Bass boom. Not very pleasant.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people don't realize in their home. Sound sees your room differently than your eyes. You see just a border, but sound will see what type of material that's made of. Is on the other side brick, or is it a closet, a bathroom? Is it thin or thick? Your eyes are just seeing the border, but sound is going to see it a lot different. So sometimes even asymmetrical setup, if you have two different type walls, is part of the equation. But this is why you want to have this experience, the experience that Klaus has, doing it in rooms like this, and that's a great tip.
Also physics, another thing about physics, other than the quick tip for tests, for setups. I'm sorry guys, I'm still not awake. Other than the cocoon, you also have a certain formula going with the setup now lengthwise in your system. What you want to do is you want to measure your room and then go from the tweeter to the rear wall in increments of uneven numbers. 1/3, 1/5, 1/7, 1/9, whatever it is. So if you're going with a near field, and if you're going with that, it's all about the waves of reflection. You really diminish it. It's literally thousands of dollars of room treatment, results that you can do for free.
That's right, just by placing your speakers and your listening chair in the right spot. Well, the proof is in the pudding. We've heard it a million times at your shows throughout the years, and you're always one of the best.
Quick shout out to Greg.
Oh yeah, Greg at the Magna Cables.
Magna Cables are just phenomenal.
Anything to add? Anything new on the Magnet front? Or I know that they've lasted forever with that traditional design.
Yeah,
Tell me about the ionizer too. That is unique.
Okay.
He missed that up there on the
Yeah,
table.
all the Magna cables that David Magnan originally designed are still available in their original form. You know, with some upgrades of materials, of course, as better stuff has come along. And then I have a few higher lines where some of the interconnects use silver as the conductor material, and cryogenically treated, and PTFE dielectrics and high quality connectors. I build these all myself in Anderson, Indiana.
Okay.
My wife helps out, things that are covered in cloth. She makes on her sewing machine. So,
Interesting. Okay.
you know, kind of like Klaus and his wife. It's
Yeah, you're talking
non-
about
true family business.
business.
True family.
Mom
We should really change it, right? The rule
Yeah.
for mom and pop audio, you know, something like
Yes.
that.
and then I also you know, I've been friends with Bob Graham for forever, and
So you
he
started
needed someone to
doing the
take over
the tone arm.
the U.S. distribution. Yeah, so
Okay.
I am now U.S. distributor for Graham Engineering Tone Arms.
Okay.
This is the Phantom Elite that we're using here. He makes two tone arms now, a Phantom Elite and a Phantom 3.
Okay.
And the Phantom Elite, the MSRP is 17.5, and the Phantom 3 is 11.5.
Okay.
He is working on a upgrade version that'll probably be out within the year, called the Phantom Platinum.
Okay.
And that's going to be probably in the 25,000 range, and it's still the same basic design with, you know, some upgrade bits and, you know,
Cool.
titanium and carbon fiber and all the good things that make things more rigid and sound better.
And does he do the ionizer too?
No, actually, we're really not representing these guys, but I guess we are because it's here. But this is the DS Audio Ionizer. It's an amazing piece. Everybody has had the
Static gun.
the little
Yes.
you know, Milty or
Yeah.
D-Stat gun.
Yep.
You know, you shoot that on your record, and
Yeah.
by the time you take a couple steps and put it on,
It's
the
already
phone,
not worth it
it's
anymore.
already back. This provides a continuous
Continuous.
flow of ions. You can actually smell the ozone a little bit if you get really close to it, but the green lights are just for show. It's,
Okay. Just to know it's on from afar.
and it's spraying ions there. But what that does is it gives you a much blacker background. All the pops and clicks.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, really.
Well,
makes
that's
it
one of the
quiet.
negatives I've found with vinyl, so that's great. And
Yeah.
I know some people, we went and visited in Dallas, a dealer that had this and swore by it. So, yeah.
And then we're using the DS Audio Grandmaster cartridge.
That's the Grandmaster.
Yeah, this is
That's-
actually my own personal cartridge.
Is that right?
Klaus made me bring it this time.
That's
He wanted to use
all
it
right.
here. So that's the optical cartridge, and then
Wow.
we have this is the
They're
dedicated
dedicated.
preamplifier section. Each one of these boxes weighs 80 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a monster.
Okay.
It might be 70. I don't know.
That's more than
It's
most
heavy.
amplifiers. Yeah.
And so it's got a just mega overkill
Yes.
capacitor bank for power supply.
That's killer.
And, yeah.
What is the price tag on the Grandmaster solution here for the DS Audio?
The cartridge and the phono preamp together are 60,000 retail.
Okay.
And that was several years ago when I bought it. It's
Okay, probably even more now,
yeah.
but yeah, that's
And
impressive.
then they just came out with the Grandmaster EX, which is another step above
Next-
this.
oh, wow,
And, you know,
okay.
people tell me it's
It's even better. Okay.
yeah, noticeably better.
Well, cool. Well, I can't wait to start listening, but it's got me psyched hearing about all this gear. So,
Yeah.
and knowing the pedigree of the room setup too.
And I think Klaus mentioned the VPI
Yep,
turntable.
the VPI he's
This
using.
is the VPI Avenger
Yep.
direct drive.
The
And,
direct drive, yeah,
Yep,
they've
so-
gone to direct drive now. So yeah,
Very good table for us.
and the symphonic line. So yeah, we got great pedigree of equipment. So yeah, let's go ahead and start listening. Okay, before we get to the next track, we were just remarking off camera about how $4,200 speakers with mega dollar source gear, but these speakers are still able to fit into that pedigree of front end and reveal the nuances and the great gear. But also, obviously, speakers, it's all about, sometimes aesthetics are way part of the equation, a percentage. For different people, it'll be a different equation. But I was asking Klaus if there's any other Veneer choices. So you were
We're actually working with a veneer house in upstate New York, Syracuse area, that are specializing in exotics and burrs, which is really cool.
Okay.
So any kind of customer who's interested in it, we send over the link. They can look at it because the veneer is really nice, really thick, very good quality. And my cabinet guy, who's a custom furniture maker, is using them for decades. And the cool thing about it is that they actually show several pictures of each and every single veneer that they have in stock.
Cool.
So you can actually not just, hey, this is figured maple, this is whatever burl, you actually see, picture after picture where it's laid out. So, of course, there are restrictions because you want to get at least a certain height, there's some cutoff. You never want to butt up. I mean, you have to butt up some veneers, but you butt up side by side, If you butt up top to bottom, it look like shit. So, there are virtually hundreds and hundreds of veneer options available.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you can almost have a bespoke speaker.
All
Yeah.
of them are.
Yeah.
All of them are. And what you do is you just pay for there's no veneer charge.
Sure.
You just pay for the veneer itself, and that's it.
You're saving so much up front, and then you would have a bespoke looking piece that's exactly to your taste versus something off an assembly line.
This one, for example, this one is a reddish. You know what? I don't know. It's no, it's not monkey. It's something different. But anyway, so it's a reddish exotic. I forgot what it was. I mean, it's also a year ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so it's all around, and this for both of them, the veneer cost was something like $400 or $500. That's it.
It's beautiful. Yeah. And the contrast, I'm a big fan of this contrast here. But yeah, if somebody wanted solid veneer, different colors, that's really, to me nowadays, aesthetics that are customized, just like your clothes. And, I'm one to know about that part of it. I like having stuff other people don't have. So that's really cool that you
the
also have.
anodization,
Yeah.
of amplifier, preamp,
Yeah,
what we're doing. We're not doing the gold plating anymore. We're not doing the silver anymore because those guys are out of their freaking minds. And we used to have platinum a long time ago, which was super expensive, and it just looked like crap after a couple of months. But we still have all of the different anodization colors. So black, silver, gold, copper, red, green, blue, purple. So you name it, custom colors too. The guys that we're using being in Indianapolis, so the anodizer that we're using is actually doing a lot of work for the IndyCar teams and doing really interesting stuff.
Cool.
And we had people, no, you will not get a yellow one with purple stuff. Okay, that's not going to happen. But we had, all the old Volkswagen 20 years ago had a special edition where they had different colors, and different panels.
Right.
So I did a couple of amplifiers here, so.
Is that right?
Yeah, looked actually pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I liked it.
No, I liked this bespoke nature. It's again a family-owned company, as we talked about in the walkthrough earlier. But again, the ultimate test is the sound. We just heard Roger Waters. That sounded great. Now we're going to do Santana, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
And I would be remiss to say, hi, Irina. Love you.
Super cool. Yeah, I don't know how you do it, but it's so fatigueless and optimally set up in a hotel room in one day. So great job.
One day is relative. It was freaking 5:30 in the morning.
Yes.
Friday morning, so.
People don't realize what goes into setting up a room, just the aesthetics alone, but getting this level of performance. Yeah, kudos to you as always, Klaus.
Thanks, man. You're supporting me with your videos, which is really, really cool. I'm happy you like it, really
Yes.
happy about it.
And just to be clear, I don't charge anything, right?
Just to be clear, tens of thousands.
I don't even have a piece of your gear I don't even have a piece of, but Dave does.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Klaus did something very special for me just recently. I had an older pair of Stratos monos, and he's been after me forever. He said, you got to send them in. You got to send them in. I need to look at them, check them, give them a healthy update. And so I sent them in, and I said, Klaus, just take the gloves off. Do your best. Do what
Right.
to your current state. of your art. Do them for me. And he put me in the queue. And
it takes a while because we're 50, 60 pieces back ordered pretty much all the time.
It's a
just
family
for
business,
upgrades.
yes.
I just recently got them back, and they're in the burn-in process, you know, running them constantly. Well, being a multi-amp system, I put them on the top end, but I turn my bass amps off, and I just let them play music all night long.
Nice.
24 hours. And it's going to be a couple months before they're really ready, as they are right now.
Yeah. Well, that's what I like to support is bespoke level work.
You said they're great.
The piano sounds wonderful.
Okay, that's another 10,000.
Oh, man. No, I love supporting companies, family-owned. I have a family-owned business myself, and companies that provide that bespoke nature, custom nature, high performance, and there's everything about this, and high value. That's the other thing.
Well, that's the whole thing,
Yeah, the high value is what I like to do. Even if I don't own the pieces, there's no, financial relationship. I like to focus on these companies because these are the type of companies that keep people in the hobby, get them started, and then you can stay in it forever without having gear anxiety and always be on that neurotic path of changing gear. So, thanks.
When you're not doing really any advertising, the last reviews I had were, 8 years, 9 years ago.
Yeah, so it's all word of mouth.
Yes, it's all word of mouth, and it works. And it's all about exactly what you're saying right now, bang for the buck.
Yep.
If you like it or not, fine. We can discuss that, but you cannot argue about what I'm trying to do.
Every gear is not for everybody, but this is a strong contender for anybody in any budget range to listen to it and look at. So I'm glad.
I think that's the
Another
thing.
10,000.
Yes.
When they say bang
I
for
should
the
start
buck,
charging now.
like when they say bang for the buck, often you think, okay, well, there's a compromise in there. It's only 3,000. It's only 2,700. So you're not really reaching the level of here.
Right.
It's bang for the buck. But in fact, you are reaching
Yes.
a level up there.
You can put any price you want. You can add zeros to anything, but not get any better value.
But again, you look at the amplifiers right now, right? Stratos, Carthago, that's just a case. It's what's inside,
Right, right.
And again, I can make, like I did with yours,
a
full
lot of
Whammy.
symphonic line
I can make
inside
60,
of mine.
70
That's
different
right.
amplifiers, But it is really a $14,000, $15,000 pair of amps,
Yeah.
which
Right.
we improve.
Yeah, if you went retail, distributor, and all that, you'd be a much higher price point.
Yeah, but if I'm putting in a different name right now, I have exactly the same amplifier, bring it on the market for $12,000 or $13,000, people will go, wow.
Yeah.
Because that's what they expect for the price and then some, right?
Yes.
So that's one of the problems, that's one of the pitfalls, one of the drawbacks about what I try to do, the bang for the buck, when people say, well, it's too cheap or it's too good to be true,
Right.
And welcome to the brainwashing success of this industry,
Well, we got people knocking on the door wanting to get in. Thank you for
Yeah,
closing
no,
off
no,
there.
no,
Yes, so yeah.
thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
And, okay, take care.